So, it's time to talk about something that's different besides adding Reagan's character over here and there and tricking everyone to basically believe that I was simping for her. Oh, I can't believe their looks on their face was priceless when I revealed that for the fact that I just used them as guinea pigs kind of thing. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to, or you're here to understand about my character. I didn't really explain it properly. I didn't mention about him basically dealing with the hybrids and shapeshifters. But here's a story that I think everyone would be shocked, though I don't think Reagan would be intent. I'm sorry for bringing Reagan's name up, but to be honest, Reagan kinda ticked me off mostly here and there, and honestly, I basically tell you plain and straight that bullshit is not always the key of things. Sorry for swearing, though. Anyway, from the top, and I'm going to talk about this war that I think I only mentioned once or twice. This war, known as the Calamity War. This type of war was different. Calamity wars are mostly rare. This type of Calamity War, unlike the Gundam from IBO and the one from Link, this one was a war between both hybrids and shapeshifters. Specifically, those two types. When it came to those two types, things were not as it seems. The thing is, life was harder. In other words, this whole war started after one of the kinds, out of one of the kinds, types, died from an incident. And it turns out, they said the hybrids attacked first, attacking one of the shapeshifters. But the hybrids also said that the shapeshifters attacked the hybrids, but no one knows who it is or what was the cause of it, because they were done at the same time. So no one knows what happened, because here's the thing. Those two type of characters that died from the same time died from the same death. Somehow they died from being stabbed in the back, right where next to the head is. Not where the head is, but somewhere around the head, like the neck area. Surprise, surprise, it's the same weapon blow. But no one knows what type of weapon it is because they don't know what type of material it is. Anyway, because of this, this causes the war to happen. A war that shouldn't happen for both hybrids and shapeshifters. You see, before anyone got confused, hybrids and shapeshifters used to live together peacefully and happily until chaos came along. And ever since that came along, the hybrids and shapeshifters had disagreements. Because of this, no one knows who caused the whole mess or anything. Swag 20 at the time, really on the other hand, you may think it was him, but actually at the time he doesn't know what was going on specifically, so he had no idea. He was friends at the time with other hybrids, but he was also friends with other shapeshifters. So it was difficult to decide what he is, because out of all things, he doesn't know why he's a mix. I mentioned this part already. He was a special hybrid to a friend of mine. However, I didn't mention how special. Special hybrids are mainly a mixed breed of a hybrid and a shapeshifter, but they don't know which one is. It's a rare chance for one of them to come along, but we don't know who it is or what it is. Swag 20 and his friends decided to go on a stroll with their armor and all this and that because they had to deal with work issues or something like that. So they decided to go on an adventure, but before they go, they decided to be armored up just in case for some incident. Before anyone gets confused, this is before Swag 20 became the mechanical boy. So don't get confused about the whole this and that. Swag is his actual name because he didn't have the number 20 until later on in years. The number 20 doesn't refer to 2020. That'll give you the example what I mean by the number 20. Back to the story. So his few friends, they actually had human names because their names were complicated to bring up. They had human names, but they were human names that were already used. But at the time, no one really used those human names. Gonna be honest, shapeshifters came after the hybrids came to existence. About like 1 million years later. In the process of this life, some of his shapeshifter friends came along, so that's why I'm bringing this up. Back to the story, once again. Somehow, them two sides of those type of thing encounter a giant army of shapeshifters. One of his shapeshifter friends were confused, as in they didn't get a notice sign for an entire army to attack a city. Let's just say plain and straight, cities were rare to find as well. This was back in the day before basically technology was exist. So pretty much magic, elemental powers, pretty much everything exists at that time. That's why it's different. For Swag 20, he mastered all 4 elements. He's not an avatar, but somehow he was able to master all 4 elements. Able to master pretty much any element, actually, come to think of it. And he mastered the ability Switcheroo, which was an ability only those that can master it. Specifically, mixed breeds. Mixed breed hybrids are most likely demon hybrids. Specifically, if that hybrid looks like something, but they're not truly knowing what they really are, they are special. Specifically, demon hybrids. In other words, not like god hybrids who have weaknesses. Demon hybrids kind of don't have weaknesses until their weaknesses is noticed by something that they add. This would explain why Swag 20 had the literal color blue. In contrary, or in short, Swag 20 was born with black, grey, and blue. His parents on the other hand were black type animals. Black type, kind of pretty much. His father was black, a black type demon. No, not black as in saying the N-word or anything like that, as in black as pure black color. Same thing with his mother. His brother was also the same. That's the reason why I had to bring this up plain and straight. However, the color eyes are basically different. I didn't mention this because I didn't want to reveal this because I didn't want people trying to kill off Swag 20's parents. The thing is, Swag 20 was the first of the hybrids to have more than what they are. His body, also like that, was confusing, and he had a metal skeleton at the time. Yeah, even he was confused. No one knows what that material was. Back to the story. His other friends, on the other hand, don't really have any special ability besides their other abilities, that's including mastering ordinary items. One of his friends, well, 2 of his friends was able to wield a bow, and 2 of his friends was able to wield a sword, a mace, or anything. Swag 20 usually uses a sword, but for this rate, he uses a mace that looks pretty similar to a weapon that was from a different timeline. But at the time, it was a weapon that was basically only used a few times for those that were special. Not unquote as in special with brackets on the side, as special as in catapults. Swag 20 was one of those special types, so he gets to wield a weapon that's known as Sword Mace Fusion. It's a weapon that's only types that can handle magical abilities. Swag 20 is also an absorber and a copycat type, but he didn't really use copycat abilities because he didn't want to use it against his enemies. Otherwise, it would be like Charbblade. This is part 1 of the story. Part 2 will come along tomorrow. I hope you understand about this part of the story, and I'll see you tomorrow, or on the next day. If you're lucky, I might release part 2, but we'll have to wait and see. I will see you later, as they say. Au revoir.